In this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia. And that's coming up right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to Living in Atlanta. This YouTube channel is all about what it's like to live in Atlanta, Georgia. I created it specifically for folks who are looking to relocate and buy a home here from out of town, and also for out-of-state investors who are looking at the Atlanta real estate market. My name is Mark Brenner. I'm a licensed realtor here in Atlanta, and if you're thinking of purchasing a home in the Atlanta area, I would love to connect with you. My team and I help people buy in the Atlanta area all the time, and we absolutely love it. All of my contact information is in the description below. Please feel free to reach out anytime. Okay, so a lot of the content on my channel is about Metro Atlanta, ITP, what's going on in the heart of the city. I know a lot of you looking here would rather live in the suburbs. You're interested in what's going on outside of the perimeter. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to make this video and start to focus on the suburbs of Atlanta. Now, one of the things I love about Atlanta suburbs is this is where the great value really shines here. So I've talked a lot in my pros and cons videos about how the cost of living is one of the best things about living in this area. And the main reason for that is the affordable housing that's still available, especially when you're looking outside of the perimeter and in the suburbs. The value for homes is absolutely tremendous. There are very few cities in America the size of Atlanta that you can live within 45 minutes of and be able to purchase a beautiful home in the $200,000 and $300,000 range. And that to me is what makes Atlanta so special. You can live in a nice, quiet neighborhood with good schools, plenty of things to do, still be a reasonable drive to Atlanta, and not break the bank on housing. So let's get right into it. Here's my top 5 Atlanta suburbs. Hold on, do you enjoy my videos? Have you found any value from the content I provide? Well, if so, do me a small favor and just tap that subscribe button. It's a huge help to me and my channel as I grow, and it will ensure you don't miss any time I put out a new video, which I do multiple times a week. So like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. All right, so before we get into it, what makes a suburb great? You need to know what my criteria is. Well, very simply, all of the places on this list are within a 45-minute drive to Atlanta. They're safe areas. They all have fantastic public and private schools. There are plenty of things to do in all of these neighborhoods. And most importantly, there is tremendous value here. So it's important for me to note here, if I was just doing the best of the best suburbs, money was no option, all of the neighborhoods would be focused on the north end of Atlanta. This is, for whatever reason, where all of the best neighborhoods are. But because of that, these are some of the most expensive areas. These are the neighborhoods where you won't break the bank and still get a tremendous amount of value with your home purchase. So before we get started, why don't we take a look at a map to give you a high-level view of the areas surrounding Metro Atlanta, what they're like now, and how they're growing so that you have a better understanding of where you may want to be. All right, so let's take a quick high-level view of what the Atlanta area is like in terms of the surrounding suburbs of the perimeter. So we have Metro Atlanta. This is the perimeter that 285 creates. This is ITP inside the perimeter. This is OTP outside the perimeter. Now, a general rule of thumb in Atlanta is north is best. So all of the money and the nicest areas are going to be concentrated north of Atlanta. That's not to say there aren't fantastic places to the west, east, and south of Atlanta, but these are just the broad strokes. So going from the Buckhead area inside the perimeter up to Sandy Springs, Roswell, Milton, Johns Creek, Alpharetta, these are really the creme de la creme. If budget isn't an issue and you want the safest, best schools, best areas to live in, you're probably going to want to focus on the north side of Atlanta. So as you head east towards Loganville, Snellville, Lawrenceville, these are all great places to look. They're still only about 30 to 45-minute drive into the city. Good schools, safe areas, definitely a solid place to look, maybe a step down budget-wise from these neighborhoods in the north. South Atlanta, unfortunately, typically has the worst reputation, but I personally love a lot of the areas in South Atlanta just because the value is highest here, and in my opinion, the outlook for the future is incredibly high. I've talked about a lot of the developments that are going on near Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, and that's going to have a profound effect on all the neighborhoods that are surrounding the south part of the perimeter, like Union City, all the way down to Fayetteville. You have Fairburn over here. There are a lot of good neighborhoods to check out down in the South Atlanta area. And the west side is kind of in between. You've still got good value here. The area can change quite a bit depending on where we're looking. I love a lot of neighborhoods on the west side like Douglasville, Mableton's over here, Lithia Springs, Hiram. There are a ton of good neighborhoods on the west side of Atlanta as well. So it's really going to come down to what the vibe of the neighborhood you want is, what your budget is, how close you need to be to travel into the heart of Atlanta, and of course, where you work and may have to commute to is going to make a huge impact on the area that you want to focus. All right, coming in at number 5 of my list of the best suburbs in Atlanta, Sewanee. So I've talked about Sewanee before in my video, the 7 best neighborhoods to raise a family in Atlanta. And Sewanee pretty much gets A's across the board in terms of safety, schools, things to do, and definitely value. Sewanee was voted one of the 10 best neighborhoods in the country to start a family by Family Circle magazine in 2013. And in 2018, it was actually voted the #1 place in Georgia for the best public schools. So the schools are excellent. It's a great family-friendly environment, and the parks and recreation here are definitely something to note. You have Town Center Park, which is really the heart of Sewanee and is a huge venue for families and events. Concerts go on here. People have picnics in the park. There's a huge splash fountain that kids can interact with, and the local library is right next door. So you really do get a tight-knit community vibe on the weekends and during events in this town center. There's also the Sewanee Creek Greenway, the Sewanee Creek Park, and Sims Lake Park. The vibe here is definitely suburban, leaning a bit towards the rural, but like I said, you're an easy 45 minutes into Atlanta, so it's no problem to make an unplanned trip. And although part of Sewanee is very expensive if you want a higher end home, like I said, there's still a tremendous amount of value in the homes here. You can find a perfectly move-in ready 3-2 house in the high 200s in Sewanee. And once you get into the high 300s, you're gonna have a big, beautiful brick house that you will absolutely love. So there's really not a single negative thing to say about Sewanee, other than it may be a tiny bit further out than some of the neighborhoods on this list from Atlanta, but really it gets A's across the board. So if you're looking for a place to start a family and you want to be relatively close to Atlanta, you need to check out Sewanee. All right, coming in at number 4 on my list, I have Lilburn. Now, Lilburn might surprise some watching this video. It's not the ritziest neighborhood. It's not going to be on a lot of the top lists for best suburbs in Atlanta, but it's one of my favorite, mainly because the incredible proximity to downtown Atlanta and also the tremendous affordability of the homes here. This is truly a blue-collar, working-class neighborhood that's only about 30-minute drive into Atlanta. It has a fairly typical suburban vibe with plenty of parks to enjoy. Like I said, you're very close to Atlanta, which you should keep in mind for traffic purposes. You definitely can get some of that famous crazy Atlanta traffic in Lilburn. But if you're into the outdoors and hiking, Lilburn and Gwinnett County in general is a great place for you to check out. There's Lilburn City Park and Bryson City Park for you and your family to enjoy. And honestly, one of my absolute favorite things about Lilburn is the diversity that you can find here. There are large communities of Asian American and Latin American families here that, in my opinion, brings a great mix of diversity and selfishly fantastic food to the region. So Lilburn is absolutely littered with fantastic mom and pop spots, both for Asian food and Latin American food that won't break the bank but are absolutely authentic and delicious. One of the largest Hindu temples in Georgia is also located in Lilburn. So like I said, you get a lot of flavor and a lot of diversity in this neighborhood, which I personally love. A traditional 3-2 starter home in Lilburn is going to start off in the mid 200s, and once we're in the mid 3s, you're going to be looking at a beautiful large 4-2, maybe 2,000 plus square foot home that you can enjoy. The schools are good here, the crime is low, there are tons of outdoors activities and amazing foreign cuisines to enjoy. You're an easy 30-minute drive to downtown Atlanta, and houses here are super affordable. Really, what more could you want? Coming in at number 3, I have Cumming, Georgia. Now, Cumming is a little town in North Georgia that is growing at a breakneck speed. Now, the main reason for me putting Cumming on the list is that you're in close proximity to some of the best suburbs in Atlanta, and you're not paying some of the crazy prices. We're talking big, beautiful new construction homes in the $400,000 range and beautiful resale homes, 3-4 bedrooms, 2,000 plus square feet, easily in the 300s. Now, like all of the neighborhoods on my list, the schools here are excellent, the crime is low, and if you're an outdoors enthusiast, Cumming is definitely a place you should look into. You've got Sawney Mountain close by with beautiful views of the city, and you've got Lake Lanier, which is an incredibly popular spot for Atlantans to go boating and enjoy on holidays like the 4th of July. And of course, being on the north side of Atlanta, you are that much closer to the North Georgia mountains and any of the amazing nature you would want to enjoy in North Georgia or Tennessee or the Carolinas. Now, when we looked at the map of Atlanta, we talked about how most of the northern neighborhoods are some of the most expensive in the entire area. Well, Cumming is really an outlier here. Like I said, you're close to Johns Creek, close to Alpharetta, close to Milton, but you're not paying the same prices. Now, you are a little bit further north and farther away from Atlanta, but if the city is not that important to you, it's obviously going to be a small sacrifice. So you've got low home prices, low taxes, good schools, a nice suburban rural environment. You're 45 minutes away from Atlanta, and you've got a big, beautiful house. So you are a happy camper living in Cumming, Georgia. All right, coming in at number 2 on my list, I have Marietta. Now, when looking at this section of town, most people would have neighboring Smyrna on their list, but I wanted to do Marietta because, in my opinion, you can enjoy many of the amenities in Smyrna at a much lower price. Marietta is in Cobb County, just northwest of the city in Smyrna. Marietta is in Cobb County, just northwest of Smyrna, and only about a 15 to 20 minute drive into downtown Atlanta. Now, if we're talking about quality of schools and crime rate, Marietta isn't going to be quite as high on the list as some of these other neighborhoods, but in my opinion, it's still more than acceptable in all of these categories, and certainly better than most of what you find inside the perimeter. In terms of your main things to do in Marietta, Georgia, one of the biggest amenities is going to be the Battery at SunTruist Park, which is the Atlanta Braves' new stadium that was built a couple years ago. This is actually in Smyrna, but of course would be an extremely easy short drive for you to enjoy. The Battery is not just a baseball stadium, it's actually a whole complex of retail shops, restaurants, bars, and just a great place to enjoy on the weekends when you don't have something to do, whether or not there's actually a Braves game going on. It's a really cool and extremely popular amenity that is really bringing people to this area and having an extremely positive effect on the home values. And of course, there's also Marietta Square, which is a quaint little downtown area with shops and a beautiful little park that you can picnic in. In terms of value, Marietta is really off the charts. If you're a single person and you don't mind condo living, you can buy a place here in the low to mid $100,000 range. Or if you're looking for a detached home, you'll be move-in ready in the mid to high $200,000 range. And once you creep up into the mid 300s, you're gonna have a beautiful home that's big enough for most 4-people families. So when you consider being able to be in a safe neighborhood with decent schools, 15 to 20 minutes into the city with plenty of things to do and extremely low home prices, I think Marietta definitely deserves to be on this list. All right, coming in at number 1 on my list of the top 5 suburbs in Atlanta, I have Alpharetta. Now, there's no surprise here. Any list of the top suburbs you look at online is going to include Alpharetta. Now, why is this? Well, quite simply, Alpharetta is the best combination of location, safety, quality of schools, things to do, and price that you're gonna find anywhere around Atlanta. Located just north of Atlanta, Alpharetta is a brisk 35 minute drive into the city. It borders higher end suburbs like Johns Creek and Milton, but doesn't have those same crazy prices. And geographically, it's just a perfect balance of being very close to Atlanta, but also giving you a massive head start into North Georgia and all the nature that there is to enjoy up there. Alpharetta is without a doubt one of the fastest growing neighborhoods in the Atlanta region, bolstered in part by some of the incredible amenities that have popped up here in the last few years. Big projects like the Avalon, which is a big city center full of restaurants and shops, similar to what we have in Atlantic Station in Atlanta. There's Topgolf, there's the Ameris Bank Amphitheater for great concert events, and there's tons of great restaurants and parks all around Alpharetta to enjoy. Alpharetta really hits the sweet spot in between more expensive neighborhoods like Johns Creek and Milton, but just above lesser quality areas like Sandy Springs or Roswell. The schools here are extremely highly rated, and safety almost definitely will not be an issue. Now, of course, because of all the great amenities that have popped up here in the last few years, you are seeing home values absolutely skyrocket, but that's not to say there's not still a tremendous amount of value to be found here. With a budget just in the low 300s, you can be very comfortable in a move-in ready home in Alpharetta. And once you get into the low 400s, you're gonna have a big, beautiful brick home for your whole family to move into. So you can own a beautiful home in one of the best suburbs in Atlanta for well under $450,000. If you're looking for a great suburb with great schools, quality of life, and incredible value, the first place I would tell you to look would be Alpharetta, Georgia. All right, so that was my personal list of the top 5 best suburbs in the Atlanta area. I hope you found that useful. If there's a topic you would like to see me do a video on, please comment below. And if you've enjoyed any of my content, please do me a personal favor, hit the subscribe button, tap the like button. I'm gonna put out multiple videos a week specifically about what it's like to live and own a home in the Atlanta area. Again, I'm Mark Brenner. I'm a licensed realtor here. If you're looking to buy a home in the Atlanta area, please reach out to me. My team and I absolutely love helping out our YouTube family. So stay tuned for more videos, and until then, I'll see you next time.